feet with these guys. They're not going to beat you for pace. They're 1-2s. They're looking for clever stuff.
Flicked it on, and it's gone in. Pardew, 4-3 Palace.
That's classic English football right there.
You try and get the teams playing the kind of same way throughout.
Yeah. There's Brighty, look. Governor. Director Bright.
Alan, you've been a manager a long time now for different clubs. How has it changed? How has the Premier League changed for managers, do you feel, over the years?
It has changed. I think social media plays a big part now in the pressure that comes on us, because that generates you guys into action. So there's a bit more sort of scrutiny on the game and the results.
Do you follow social media, or do you
We
have a little look
got
at,
to, yeah.
So you keep
Yeah.
an eye on what the fans are saying, because I mean they don't hold back, do they? In that world?
No. But you can't live your life by it. You would never be able to get yourself up. I mean, it's tough enough as a football manager these days to keep yourself positive all the time, and particularly with the younger players as well, because every generation seems to be at the moment, every year, more ingrained in their phone. And I know you're a bit like that with your Twitter and all that. So it's
occasionally.
Yeah.
Have a view.
So it's something that you have to understand. But the bigger difference, I think, is the ownership of the football clubs is becoming an issue for football managers up and down the country.
In what sense?
You know, there's chairmen and chief executives who are getting far too involved in the football matters of a football club.
How does it work with Steve Parish? Have you got that balance right, do you think? Is that?
Yeah, I think we got a good balance. I've got a great relationship with him. I admire him in what he's done in business and the way he conducts himself, particularly the way he's conducted his business at this football club. He's let the managers get on with it. Of course, because he's a hands-on sort of chairman, he does the financial deals, which suits me. But of course, he wants my decision. He wants my final say on all the stuff we do recruitment. You cannot believe how much detail we put into that now.
You know, everybody knows he's a good player. It's not, there's no question mark over his ability to play if he's fit.
What makes a good chairman?
We get one, we get two. No question.
My manager comes back onto me and says, look, this worth a go, that is, I think, then we'll look at it.
I think a good chairman is very important when you lose. We lost the weekend.
Yeah.
His reaction was very professional. Okay, didn't play very well. Unusual. Didn't really ask me too many reasons why. Expects me to get on with it though.
Yeah.
Got it right. Also, and be very supportive in difficult times.
Tell me how you go about recruiting a new player, because I mean you brought in four, didn't you?
Yeah.
Four big names anyway.
The example would be the difference I have here in Newcastle. The difference at Newcastle was the financial element come first, and then the technical side of it was, okay, well that should fit, you know? Whereas here, the luxury I have is that the technical aspect, how it fits, comes first. That's the most important point.
How was it different at Newcastle then? Because obviously you were frustrated there at times, and then now in the Championship. Do you think they got it wrong there?
Well, I like to think that they've learnt some lessons. I think Mike at Sports Direct has learnt some lessons. I think he'd be the first to say that. And I think he's had to learn lessons on the football side. I kept nagging him, kept telling him I think the process was wrong, what they were doing. And I made that very clear behind closed doors, never made that public. But I don't think he'd have a problem with me saying it now. And, you know, the be-all and end-all is the vision of the manager, how he wants to take the team forward. That must come first. And then, of course, there's a financial element. Steve's not going to let me sign. I don't want, I'd like to bring Neymar to the football club. It'd be lovely, Steve, but the finance is completely wrong. Yeah.
You think he'd get in your team?
Steve would probably fancy it and probably sell a few things, but, it is kind of, it all has to fit after, These are the players that fit the kind of what we need. Go and get me one of them.
Yeah.
Benteke jumping superbly.
Christian Benteke, you brought him. How much thought did go into that move? Because that was a lot of money for Crystal Palace, wasn't it?
Yeah.
To buy someone like that. Did you have to push the chairman for that one, or
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sweet talk him, have a couple of dinners with him, and everything else. Yeah. Just kept saying, Steve, this is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Give them 40 million, Liverpool. Give them 40 million. He wouldn't, by the way.
Great tackle. I'm having that. You love closing down, Wilf. Don't pretend you don't. Wilf, you love it. Look at that smile. Love that, Davo! That's what we need tomorrow, mate.
Put me on, I've got to deliver this for.
Do you ever look at people like they coming in now, the Guardiola, Klopp, etc. Managers that they've come into it and they've always got great teams and great players. Does there a tinge of envy occasionally about
a tinge
or more?
A little bit more. Okay. A little bit more.
I just want to know how it was because do you ever think, why wasn't I ever given a chance at one of those clubs?
You kind of earn the right sometimes to get in that position, and I respect that. Klopps, the Guardiolas, the Mourinhos have earned their right to be at those football clubs. Maybe I haven't, but of course there is another side to football management and getting the best out of the group that you got. That's all I can focus on.
Yeah.
So I've always tried to do that. And at Newcastle, at times, I had a very unbalanced team, very unbalanced squad, very difficult to pick up results with that. When you don't think that the players that are being signed for you fit what you want, that makes it frustrating a little bit, and I was a bit frustrated. I haven't got that excuse here. But likewise, I think with the top managers, it's always a great challenge, and in a way, from where I've come from, and you probably played against me, you wouldn't have remembered me much. It's been a long road for me to get to this level, and I'm very proud to be here. I do enjoy going up against them. I've beat a few of them, and I've seen a lot of them come and go already. Supposedly very good managers.
Great ball, son. Go on, Sacco, go on! You've got to shoot there. You've got to shoot.
How does your mood reflect results?
When you're a younger manager, the emotion of the defeat clouds your thinking a little bit.
Lock in! Lock in!
You're angry, you're frustrated, you want to kind of put it right Monday, Tuesday,
What a goal!
When you get a bit more experience, I think you can have a bit more thought process of why was that?
Last couple, Will. Come on, Will.
When I was younger, I would, I'd be a lot angrier than I am now.
How have you missed that muchy 5-4?
A lot more frustrated than I am today.
Oh, great finish.
But that doesn't mean to say my winning passion is nonetheless. I'm desperate to the next game now.
Yeah. Oh my God, chance! What a save that is! Martin Kelly.
How has it changed managing players over the years? Because in our day, managers have a rant and stuff. Can you still do that nowadays?
Yeah, I think you have to change with the times. Let's just say if I got 11 English players in the dressing room, I could probably still do that. But the cultures of other countries are different. You have to understand that. And a French player or an African player, if you kind of destroy them at half-time or very critical of them at half-time, they take that very personally. It's not kind of natural for them. They want to have a solution. There's a more kind of thought process to them. But Yohan Cabaye, for example, I will still be strong with Yohan Cabaye. If I think he's wrong, I might do it in a different way though. I might just not do it in front of the group, just on one side. That wasn't good enough, Yo. I need a bit more from you.
Tactically, you look like you brought in different individuals this season. Look like trying to change things a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I inherited a team that had come out of the Championship. And if I was talking positive about that team the last couple of years. I'd say you were a brilliant team on the break.
Yeah.
Because really and truly wasn't good at keeping the ball or dictating the pace of the game. And that's what I tried to change this year, to sort of say, okay, we can't go on playing like that. It might keep us 16th and 15th in the league, but it's not going to get us in the top 10 or into Europe.
Has Leicester winning the league made life difficult for managers like yourself, in the sense that the fans' expectation, perhaps the chairman's expectation at clubs has got much greater now, because, well, they can do it, why can't we?
I think there is a little bit of that. Not that bothers me, if I'm honest. I never assumed the Leicester would happen.
No.
And it's astonishing, amazing.
It's a miracle, really, wasn't it?
I don't know what you want to call it, right? And I know it's your team. But from afar, I loved it. All my players, we loved it. Everyone wanted Leicester, other than the top clubs. And look what the top clubs have done. This is this is the problem now. They've all gone, we're all a bit embarrassed here. Let's go and get the best manager we can, and let's throw some money at it and make sure it doesn't happen again.
The whole England thing is, we've had a few stories over the last few weeks, obviously, with Big Sam and what happened in the Euros and another failure, and there's more talk about who will be the next England manager now. I mean, you've been mentioned, obviously, on occasions.
I think this England thing is becoming a bit of a problem, if I'm honest, for the manager. It might be a good time to let Gareth have it, I think. And I think...
Well, you know him well.
I know him very well, and I think he has the attributes to do it. For me, I've never been offered the job. No. If I'm offered the job, I'm English. Would I turn it down? I don't know. But that's another question. I think I've got the experience to do it. I think I can do it one day. I don't know if this is the time. I just want to hope like you do, that at some point we get it right.
Everyone.
He actually did clip me.
You right, Warren, Scott?
This season, for Crystal Palace, what do you want?
I think we can do well in the league this year. I really do.
What is, for Crystal Palace, doing well in the league? That's
well, success for this football club's in the top 10. Without a shadow of a doubt, that's success. From 10th to 15th, I would say, in this particular year, in the change of style, is pretty good. Anywhere below that, you're in that area where it is not a good season, and you're going to start reflecting and start having a look at changing the squad again. And I don't want to do that. I think this team in the next 2 years could be decent. Denying a space in the units when they have it, switching the play. Remember, quick throws, trying to get ourselves playing. And if you switch the play, they cannot press you. The way they play, it's impossible. If you can see it going back to Joe or Macca in the edge of the box, we can do that. Don't worry about that, because we've got plenty of time. Don't think, well, we've got to score a goal, we've got to score a goal. We've got to make sure they don't score. So get back in your roles and then go and get your goal. Come on, let's go. Good luck, Skipper, good luck. Good luck, Joe. Good luck, mate. Go on. Seagulls. Come on. Good luck, Sam. Good luck, Fraser. Good luck, Yo. Use your imagination. Use your imagination. Good luck. Be strong today, mate. Strong. Okay, mate. Come on. Come on, son. Come on.
Well, I promised you coffee and pastries. Graham Lasso, welcome to the Premier League show. I really enjoyed seeing that because Alan Pardew does feel like, one of obviously very few English managers in the Premier League, but also a different breed almost. And it's a tough life, to be doing that day in, day out. But if you have a good relationship with your chairman, it makes things a little bit easier, doesn't it? And he certainly has that. Yeah,
it's obvious that they're very close, Steve and Alan, in that sense. And I think the fact that they work so well together can only benefit what happens on the pitch, because if you've got an understanding and a relationship with the person that's responsible for the purse strings, then you've got an opportunity to get the right players for you. To
get the players you want, which didn't happen to him at Newcastle, obviously.
No, and that was, it wasn't particularly veiled, was it, his answer about the relationship, or his comments about the relationship that he had up at Newcastle. But I think ultimately it's fascinating to see where that line is drawn, though, because it's all right to go out for dinner with the chairman and enjoy his company socially, but ultimately you've still got business decisions to make and differences of opinion at certain times. So how they manage that relationship, I think, is fascinating.
And also, the recruitment is very interesting, and responsibility for what you spend, you know, and they spent big this summer. They brought in some big players. £30 million on a striker is a lot for Crystal Palace to commit to. So quite interesting also to hear him say top 10 to top 15 finish, because a few years ago, if you spent that on a striker, you'd be expecting to be knocking on the door of European places.
Yeah, I think obviously with the price of players now, the bar's been raised by everybody. So, you know, they're not alone in spending a lot of money on players. So as the Premier League becomes more sort of expensive, you've got to keep up. And I think that, you know, he has to be careful answering that question. It's a difficult question for a manager, because if he says top 10, then we all start to question him if he's not meeting that target that he said publicly. Realistically, I think with the players that they've bought, Benteke being one, Townsend, Zaha, the way the team is set up and play, I think a top 10 finish is realistic for them this season. And if they can keep that momentum, they had a blip against West Ham, but if they can keep that momentum, they've got a fantastic chance to achieve that.
Is that success, do you think, a top 15 finish for Crystal Palace?
I think for all of them in those positions, a bad season would be, you know, 15th. None of them can afford to get relegated because of the baggage that comes with that. It's more than just the money. So it's really important for Crystal Palace to make sure that they have the most momentum out of the teams around them.
And one thing's for sure, he's not going for that England manager's job anytime soon, is he? OK, let's have a little look then back at the last 7 days in the Premier League.
An outstanding performance. Exactly.
Sets up Gosling! The look on Mike Phelan's face tells you all you need to know.
Alexis Sanchez up towards Mesut Ozil! Happy birthday! Fantastic finish by Mesut Ozil.
Disappointed, but there's some positives as well, so hopefully we can build on that.
Dalglish in his way, not for long. Lukaku goes on, and Lukaku scores!
In my manager period, coaching period, the best team what I ever met. But we showed unbelievable spirit today.
Corner deep, short cross. Allen in, 2-0, 2 goals by Joe Allen.
We've got our act together in defence. Last 3 games, I think there's been a distinct change.
It's Van Dijk, and Austin, and he's in!
I love scoring goals, and I'm going to celebrate every one I score.
Coutinho's effort, oh what a save!
The control of the game was our game. Even the reaction from that crowd was permanently disappointment.
Here are next weekend's fixtures in full. Well, there are 8 games in total on Saturday, with Liverpool versus West Brom in the tea-time slot. Both Manchester clubs play on Sunday, with City facing Southampton at lunchtime before that heavyweight clash down the road from us here. Despite winning the title 3 times in 2 spells at Stamford Bridge, the Special One's acrimonious departure last season still stings. His career's taken him from Porto to Manchester United, but he'll always be made in Chelsea.
I think I'm a special one.
Lampard for the title, Chelsea's championship.
Here's the man who's made it all happen.
There's Drogba. Oh, magnificent!
Chelsea are champions.
And Chelsea have scored!
Chelsea are the first FA Cup winners at the new Wembley.
The Special One has left the club. Whew, what a shocker.
Mourinho has gone.
I'm the happy one.
Jose Mourinho is heading back to English Premier League side Chelsea.
Mourinho is back and everyone happy.
We are ecstatic.
It's a fantastic day.
Fabregas! And Hazard puts the ball under De Gea. Airborne, their first title in 5 years. Up goes the silverware.
I'm very happy. I'm very proud. At the same time, I need a rest. I'm tired.
Jose Mourinho has been sacked. 9 defeats this season. 1 point above the relegation.
Knocked me down to my knees.
I believe I can make you a happy man.
Well, Stamford Bridge is just a croissant's throw away from here, Graham, and it's going to be a fantastic cauldron, isn't it, when he comes out there for the first time as manager of Manchester United. What kind of reception do you expect him to get?
Well, firstly, I think he's going to absolutely love it. I bet he can't wait, because he'll get all the attention. He'll probably come out early and sit in the dugout, as he did up at Anfield on Monday. But I think it'll be a good reception from the Chelsea fans, because despite, you know, the cloud in which he left under, he did a huge amount for that team and the club over 2 spells. So I think fans will remember that first, and then as soon as the teams come out onto the pitch, they'll forget all of that and just treat him like they would any opposing manager, particularly if his team does well. So it's going to be fantastic to see, and I hope that there's a bit more entertainment, shall we say, about this match. I'm hopeful, but I'm also realistic.
Well, I don't think any Chelsea fans would be surprised at the way he set his Manchester United team up to play Liverpool, because they saw that time and time again. And he's very pragmatic, isn't he, about playing sides that he sees are challengers to a title. So why would he do anything different at Stamford Bridge?
No, I agree. I think also at Liverpool, it's slightly different circumstances in one respect, because he couldn't afford to lose that game, which would have meant 3 games lost in the first 8 matches. So, you know, he's got a point on Monday. The team looked like they really understood what they wanted from him, so that's a good base for Manchester United. I expect them to start the same at Stamford Bridge, but funnily enough, I was at the game on Monday, and Pogba in the first half actually played further forwards. He didn't play as a 3-man midfield. He played slightly further forwards, supported Ibrahimovic. So they were a little bit more positive in the first half than people would have you believe. Although as the game went on, that's when they really started to withdraw, and he just felt, well, look, a point's good enough for us at this stage of the season. As you rightly say, pragmatic, rather than going out there and letting these players just go and express themselves. But, you know, stage 1 of what he wants to achieve at Manchester United is making sure that team is disciplined, understands its responsibilities out of possession, and then build the creativity from there. But I expect to see the same again at the weekend against Chelsea.
Let's talk about Conte and how he's taken to life in the Premier League and as Chelsea manager, because he seemed to be a little bit cautious at first, didn't want to make too many changes. Working out personnel, was he? Working out the Premier League?
Well, I think he wanted to look at the players. You know, a quality squad, but obviously suffered a lot from the effects of last season. So morale was pretty low. So he's certainly given them a chance to go out and prove themselves. They've been inconsistent, and some of their players, particularly players like Hazard, are still not firing on all cylinders, albeit now that he's changed the system, I think they look a much more comfortable side. And you can only say that after one match, you know, the game against Leicester, but they looked in total control against a poor Leicester side. I expect he's going to stick with this back 3. I think he's going to get more out of players like Hazard and Pedro if he plays again. So it's going to be really intriguing, because you're going to have 2 different systems, and it's who can control the ball and actually frustrate their opponent, and it's whether or not Chelsea take the game to Manchester United, and Manchester United just put that block up again and try and score on the counter-attack.
And you don't think that the emotion of the occasion would ever be something that would bother a character like Mourinho?
No, I don't think so. I think he'll be, as I said, he'll love the attention when he gets out there initially, but then once the game starts, it's all going to be about going away with either 3 points, but certainly 1. That's going to be his main aim.
0-0.
I hope not.
OK, well, it's been raining penalties in the Premier League already this season, with 6 awarded last weekend alone. So we asked former keeper Mark Schwarzer to step into our virtual studio and give us some tips for saving from the spot.
This weekend we saw just how valuable goalkeepers can be to their team when it comes to spot kicks. There have been more penalties awarded at this stage of the season than in the previous 5 years, working out at over 4 penalties in every round of Premier League fixtures. So what can goalkeepers do to increase their chances of being the hero? For me, there are 3 key rules. 1, research. Study your opponent's technique and know where they are most likely to shoot. 2, have a good starting position. Be on your toes with your body weight forward, ready to spring off your line. And 3, be confident enough to stay on your feet and let the penalty taker make the first move. In Saturday's game, we have Manchester City versus Everton, and it's De Bruyne versus Stekelenburg. For me, the goalkeeper here makes himself look big. And what that says is, beat me. You make the first move. And because he waits to the very last second and he's able to read the shot, he uses his momentum to make a very good save to his left-hand side. Same game, but this time it's Aguero v Stekelenburg. Aguero loves to watch the keeper and wait as long as possible. But of course, Stekelenburg waited longer and made another great save.
Saved again by Stekelenburg, Everton's superstar.
Leicester v Swansea, and it's Mahrez v Fabianski. So this is where the research comes into it. Last season, Riyad Mahrez took 6 penalties, 4 to this side and 2 to this side. All of them were low, and Fabianski would have known this. So now it's all about reading which way he'll go. As Mahrez steps up to strike the ball, we can see by his body language there's really only one way he can go, and Fabianski reacts really well. Palace v Bournemouth. Boruc is one of the best in the Premier League at saving penalties. He has his body weight forward, and with some movement, he gains some extra push-off and reads Kabai's body position well. He's clearly done his homework, as history shows Cabaye likes to hit them high, and he makes a good save. Spurs v Man City. Bravo here takes a different approach, and that's maybe because Lamela isn't the regular penalty taker. Here he is out of position, almost disinterested, and it isn't until Lamela is ready to start his run-up that he decides to shuffle back and forth across the goal, until finally, and most importantly, setting himself